This first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
What a great spot.
Hello and welcome to the 2025-26 APTA Tour. We're live from the Cleveland Racquet Club in Pepper Pike, Ohio, bringing you the 2025 Cleveland Masters, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsor, Corient. Tournament support has also been provided by the following local sponsors: Compass Group, Trumbold Equipment Company, Carnegie Investment Council, Elk & Elk, Jerecy's Restaurant, Gilmore Security, Simple Solutions, Jerecy's Slice Shop, and Viking. I'm Steve Sullivan, along with Randy Markey, bringing you this quarterfinal men's match between number 4 seed Dan Hansen and Ned Mandel against Charlie Emhardt and Zach Held. We have in our chair Bill Young today, and this is new this year. It's 2 out of 3 sets, no ad scoring, server's choice, which has provided some excitement so far. Randy, welcome to the stream.
Thanks, it's great to be here. Welcome to Cleveland, everyone. So yeah, as we're looking at the court here, on the near side in the deuce corner, we've got Zach Held. His partner in the ad side is Charlie Emhardt, both out of Indianapolis. And on the far side, in the ad court, we've got Ned Mandel, and we've got Dan Hansen. Ned is out of the Washington, D.C. area. And Dan comes to us from Mystic, Connecticut. We got 2 civilians out there. 3 civilians, actually.
Yeah, when you see a U.S. Navy mechanical engineer building nuclear submarines for Dan Hansen, there's a little different paddle IQ potentially going on out here.
A little bit. And Zach's a dentist, so, you know. But these guys can all play. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be a fun match.
This should be a good matchup. I think it's a nice, maybe a little bit warm paddle day in Cleveland today, right? And I like the overcast skies. You got a little lefty-righty going on the far side of the net between Hansen and Mandel. But yeah, these are teams that play a lot of paddle, a little bit more, sticking to the Midwest. When you look at Emhardt and Held, right? They have, a good record last 2 years today in Cleveland, but they played charities as well. Tough loss in 3 to Dobich and Pardo de Andrade. And Medina, Indy, Steel City, and Midwesterns last year. So yeah, they're sticking a little bit to the Midwest. They did get to nationals at Philly Cricket last year. So yeah, this should be a good, interesting matchup.
You got some firepower on both sides of the net as well. I watched Held and Emhardt play their round of 16 match. Emhardt likes to come in and blitz behind Held's drive. He's got a big drive of his own. And we're going to see a lot of chaos created, I think, by Dan Hansen and his creativity. He's got a lot of action on that lefty game of his.
Yeah, is he a friend of the cutter? Do I remember?
Oh yeah.
Loves to put some junk on the ball, and creativity, and this is a very social game. It's a very fun game for racket sports. It's certainly unique, but this is big competition. This is the 5th tour event of the year. In between, last week Chicago Charities, the first Grand Prix. Next week, Aronimink back in Philly for the 2nd Grand Prix, but. Yeah, these are sometimes also these one-day events can get a little bit long. So yeah, you want to keep yourself energized and into it. So it should be interesting.
I think all these guys played some pretty big-time tennis, so we've got a lot of racket skills out there. I know that Mandel likes to drive both sides, but has a really nice screen drive. So we're going to be watching for that. Any idea, Steve, where, kind of strategically where each of these teams needs to be thinking about in terms of spotting the ball on the court, stay out of trouble? What are you looking for here today?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you mentioned the creativity of a Dan Hansen. but you also mentioned the racket skills and some pretty high-level college tennis. So, yeah, you're probably trying to get to the side screen a little bit. You're going to use the middle sparingly, right? Trying to, avoid probably a big forehand from Mandel. But, the other thing that you tend to see in the beginning of some of these matches is both teams finding their way a little bit. They're likely coming in, with an expectation of what to avoid, what weapon they don't want to see. But, the first game, a serve game, a return game, usually pretty quickly you're going to find out the spots that are going to make you pay. So, yeah, it should be an interesting start to see if we see any tendencies or very clear sort of strategic choices by one team or the other.
Looks like we're getting ready to start here.
Yeah, some of the sweat's coming off. 60 degrees or so. So this is a little bit warm weather paddle, which means the ball's going to be a little bit fast. It's going to be moving. May see a little bit more transition game of, losing the net, coming back to the net, with some big drives breaking through the net team. So that should be a little bit interesting to cause a little bit more chaos, as you said a little bit earlier, Randy, that, this super ball that we play with in the sport can get really energized when you get into the 50, 60 degree or higher temperatures. So racket skills are going to, probably going to be winning out a little bit on this ball.
And if the weather holds, that will be true. I think all bets are going to be off when and if we start to see a little bit of rain and this court gets wet. The air here is very thick. There is rain in the forecast. And we'll hope to see this match conclude before the rain starts to fly. But that will change everything. Nobody wants to play against Dan Hansen in the rain, I can tell you that.
Yeah, the skidding of the ball, rain is tricky. Depending on how diehard you are, a lot of us club players, we see some rain. We may reschedule or, not be so into it. The court can also get a little bit slippery, but anyone who can really have a nice slash overhead that they let drop low or the cutter, the rain changes the dynamic and the effectiveness of that ball like tenfold. So don't always love rain paddle. I think it can change the competitive dynamic a little bit. So, yeah, let's see if we can hold off here.
Yep. All right, we're getting ready to start. We got Zach Held in the near court, ready to serve to Dan Hansen in the far deuce court. We've got the legend, Bill Young, up in the chair.
All right, here we go. Nice start, making Dan Hansen work in that corner. 3 really tough, sort of scraping off the screen digs there.
Interesting. We're going to see if we see more Dan looking to jump that ball, the down up in that corner.
Yeah, really nice technique there. Charlie Emhardt let that ball come really low, probably a little bit lower than shoulder height, and just changes the ability to sort of, obviously, he sort of went at the heels of Hansen there, but yeah, it gives a lot of effective opportunity to put different types of spin on the ball. If you can let that ball, your contact point, drop below your head and certainly at or near your shoulders.
Going for the body shots early, guys.
Yeah, I mean, make a move. Sometimes those balls are, get a little bit of a stink eye back at you. But at the end of the day, making that person move out of the way first and then figure out how to defend the ball is the right approach. But yeah, coming out hot. Another game point here for Emhardt.
Yeah.
and Held here serving, wearing the headband.
All right, that was a good hold. I think what we saw there is, though, that Emhardt and Held like to play fast. Emhardt does like to come in and kind of blitz, keep that little bit of back and forth, a little bit of unpredictability. And, so far, it's working.
Yeah, big tennis motion by Ned Mandel on the serve, making that returner move all the way over into the ad court.
Wow.
I don't know. Dan Hansen's taking some bullets in the first game and a half.
Sure
They're making these guys work. Nice spot there by the return. That's where you see that ball coming hot both ways.
That's a great shot, Ned.
Yeah. Hard fought point. Great effort there by Ned Mandel.
No, it's
See there in the
interesting.
transition, yeah, transition there. Dan Hansen didn't really have to move too far back. That ball really came lively off the back screen towards him.
There's a loose ball.
Yeah.
All right, so here we are, one game apiece. But what's interesting to me is these guys, Emhardt and Held, have not really given Hansen an opportunity to go to work. They've been playing fast. They've been doing a lot of driving. They're not hitting a lot of lobs to give Hansen the opportunity to do his thing. That may be a good strategy if they can keep it up.
Yeah, they've more gone at him than sort of played to him, right? They've been very, to your point, offensive, trying to dictate when they're going to him versus just sort of playing it to his side of the court. Another really nice ball. Charlie Emhardt lets drop really low there. Yeah, it's a great camera angle. Really nice to watch Ned Mandel, how he's sort of architecting the point a little bit from the defensive side with his movement. So he's, active, looking to help out, on Hansen for a potential nick, but yeah, really loading his legs, getting down. A lot of athleticism from that side of the court.
That was a great dig. like those little tiny steps allowed him to stay on that ball, even though it was a really tough ball to pick up.
Yeah, he seemed to keep his center of gravity really low. A couple matrix-like moves to get out of his upper body out of the way, but really staying with his feet sort of more engaged. So, yeah, really like how he's sort of picking his spots. He's hitting, he's hit out a couple shots, including that one. But, yeah, really well thought out points there by Ned Mandel, and they get the break. So yeah, fast tempo, Randy, right? This is not surprising. I think in the intro to the game, we suspected this was going to be a little bit of a hot start by both teams. But yeah, Emhardt and Held are definitely trying to dictate the points early. Sometimes you get sucked in. You see some of the statistics here from Court Director early on. We're going to be coming back, throughout the match to see if there's any big tendencies in the statistics. But yeah, people like to geek out on PTI, so a little bit of a PTI comparison. So Hansen currently playing at a -8, Ned Mandel at a -5.6, and both Emhardt and Held just below -2.
That was a great spot by Zach Held. Really spotted that drive perfectly. Ned couldn't get out of the way.
Yeah, sometimes you call it that chicken wing spot, trying to get a little bit on the forehand hip. This is, different from tennis, that backhand volley, holding and so showing that backhand and using it to cover 60, 70% of sort of your space. So if you can get that forehand, that drive at that spot, that's really the ideal place. Hansen really getting in quick after that underhand serve. What do you think about that underhand serve there? Hansen's got a couple different shows on his serve, doesn't he?
He does. He's got a big kick on his overhand serve. He's got a little push right there. He can also do the topspin underhand. Listen, at the end of the day, for a club level player like me, the whole point is to get into the point. Right? It doesn't have to be anything special, but it's definitely staying low. And although Held has done a pretty good job of getting his paddle on it, hitting a pretty big return, it's effectively getting him in the point.
Yeah, that is the absolute strategy to sort of get that side screen. Charlie Emhardt just missed that lob, but boy, Ned Mandel, this is so far the weapon that you may want to stay away from. That's not only is it just an absolute cannon of a backhand, and he seems to find the crease every time, or the middle of the two at the net, but yeah, just the way he sort of waits for it and lets the point come to it, it's pretty impressive. Ned played college tennis at Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut. And Hansen at Drexel in Philly. Not surprising we have an engineer coming out of Drexel.
Right.
Zach you see there. He loves that sort of inside-out roller. Played for a year at Michigan, 3 years at Indiana University.
He played a little pro tennis too, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Charlie Emhardt, other than he appears to have a hell of a game.
Yeah, nice cover there, but of course, I think Dan Hansen wants that ball back to create a lot of opening for him to sort of take the net back. Just couldn't quite get that contact point in front of him.
It's a big ball. Love the way he closes.
He returned that one, right? And then
He did. Followed it in.
Got himself
Closed real
called that
tight.
almost over the net. Really nice positioning there.
What I like that I'm seeing from Emhardt and Held in this match versus the round of 16 match I watched is they seem much more organized in terms of their roles. It looked a little chaotic in the first match that I watched, the round of 16. This is much more, a little more calm, a little more organized. And they are playing their strategy. So far, it's working.
Yeah, Zach Held, just overthinking how much cut he wanted to put on. Zach Held's he is willing to hit that roller almost all the way back to the baseline, and it's giving some openings for Hansen Mandel to sort of, you saw in that last point, puts Charlie Emhardt in a little bit of a strange position to figure out how he can help. Yeah, really nice move there.
Oh, that's our first deuce point, the no ad scoring, and that game is over. So we're going to do a quick read for Corient here. Corient is the official wealth sponsor of the APTA's 2025-26 season. Corient is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. Learn more at corient.com.
All right, so first, deuce, sudden death, no ad point, server's choice there. That's the second to last statistic here in this sheet with court directors bringing us here. So this has been pretty interesting. Last year, probably the last 2 years, the length of paddle matches has gotten pretty long. It's been a lot of new tennis talent coming into the game, a lot of really, experienced players as well, whether it's Mark Powers or Graham McNerney. I think our finals last year was 5+ hours. So NOAD, I think, has a couple, things it brings to the game. One is obviously the excitement. I think it puts, some of these matches and some of these teams to the test of like who plays better under pressure, being really thoughtful. The 40-30 point now means a lot more. And, there's a hope that it shortens the length of the matches. I don't think we've seen a marathon yet this season that, hits the 4 or 5 hour mark. But so far, it's been incredibly interesting this season. It's brought a lot of excitement. So I'm a huge fan. What do you think, Randy? I'm
in agreement, especially sitting here in the booth.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's a little bit of a benefit for us, but I think it's brought a dynamic to some of these matches that is a little bit interesting. And, I come from a tennis background. When you throw NOAD into tennis, it's not always loved by people. You short sets, NOAD, a couple different scoring systems have been tried at the junior level, also in college tennis. But I think in paddle, the defending has gotten so good. The offense is great, but the defending has gotten so good, it's really hard to win points. And I just think it's the smart thing to do. The APTA is always trying to be creative and think about different ways to not only engage viewers, in the YouTube streams, but, also some of these events now, you can maybe consolidate into one day. You don't have to necessarily have a 3-day tournament anymore, which I think is also tough on the travel and the players as well. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I think it's been great for spectators. I think it's also good for the players. I think when they're playing these tournaments and they're playing, some of these guys can end up playing 3.5, 4 hour matches, and their bodies are just lunch meat by the time it's over. And then they got to go back and get on court on Tuesday. And
play a league
assert
match.
their membership or play a league match.
Nice patient transition there.
I think the other thing I like to see here with Emhardt and Held is they do a really nice job changing their overhead looks. There's not a pattern you can get used to. Doing a little push and pull, hitting the hard roller and then the side screen cutter and then going right at them. I think that variability is working very well for them.
Yeah, the
They're
rollers
both
just
doing
got so much opportunity to, create a lot of variability, not just, the direction you hit it, but the pace, the spin, that acronym volley that everybody, loves to yank every once in a while. But I think it's one of the better shots in the game because of the variability. And you don't know, it's not predictable, right? You don't know how to play it each time it comes off the paddle. Really nice shot there by Zach Held.
I think Hansen and Mandel need to do when they're at the net to sort of neutralize some of this offense. I just feel like Mandel needs to maybe get a little more active at the net when Dan's doing his thing. Get a little tighter. Be a little more unpredictable for those guys as they're trying to bring all that heat.
Seems like a crazy shot, right? But it's pretty effective. There's a couple people, Matt Moya last week at Chicago Charities, tried sort of cutters from the baseline that just went, 18 feet in the air. But, sometimes a different spin, playing that different spin. Wow, just really nice there.
Yeah, but that sort of cut forehand just dies on your paddle. You've really got to push through it to get it back over the net. Proved to be very effective for Dan. All right.
A 7-game ball change here. Never been on the court with Dan Hansen, but I can imagine some of that cut and juice he puts on the ball can do a little bit of damage to any of the manufacturer's balls here. Likely playing with Viking this week is one of the main sponsors of the event.
Indeed. Wow, that was a great pick.
Wow. The second it came off Hansen's paddle, I'm like, I think that's Held's ball. I had a feeling that was going to move a panel or two to the other direction. Sort of caught Emhardt a little bit off his feet, but yeah, worked out for him. Just stayed with it.
Not sure what the...
I can't imagine it was Emhardt's ball. That looked like it was inside the alley.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Wow, okay, maybe maybe
Must
that
have
was
been
it. I didn't. I guess I wasn't as much focused on it. It looked like he just slipped it right past him. Hansen did pull up. I just thought it was such a softie in the corner that there was no chasing it.
Wow. Like I said, it must have been in.
I mean, that's just the paddle gods, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit of a let's go, right, from Zach Held there.
Wow.
Wow, huge nick. And I think we both know, Randy, platform tennis players are some of the more honest, generous people in the world. So ball moves pretty quick. And yeah, but anytime, you're in a deep competitive match, you love to win that next point after there's a little bit of controversy or discussion, or if you didn't see it the same way.
Well, and the umpire
All right, two quick
call
games back and forth.
Yeah. Emhardt and Held are really kind of dictating the pace of this match, and it's working to their advantage. Playing quick. And, I think if Hansen and Mandel can slow it down a little bit, I don't know how you do it with these guys because they seem to be driving from everywhere, and it's warm enough out that the ball's just not sitting down. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me yet. I can't make heads or tails of why this match is sort of this tight. And, I think you're right from a cadence perspective. There's definitely, like that last one, there's definitely some loose misses by Hansen and Mandel, but they don't seem to be in control. Interesting. If I look back, Randy, at the draw, so Hansen and Mandel are 4 seeds, Love and Love in the first round, Love and 3 in the round of 16. So they haven't played a lot of competitive paddle to get to this point. Same with Emhardt and Held, a 1-0 and a 1-1 in the round of 16 to get into this match. So, yeah, sometimes you're in a match, you win a set 6 love, it's the kiss of death. But maybe both of these teams, Emhardt and Held are responding a little better to sort of a very competitive match. And really like the move there by Emhardt.
Great.
Again, Mandel had every option in the world. He telegraphed it, but Emhardt just sort of moved to the right spot. Point for 5-4. Zach Held serving. And right back at you.
All right, server's choice at deuce.
Okay. Picking Mandel in the ad.
Boy, let court is
No ad.
Mandel's friend.
Sudden death. How's the let court? How you feeling right now if you're Zach Held? Not great. But a big, this is, these things happen, right? And I think that's one of the unknowns about how the deuce point comes into play. Could there be, an element of luck where if you're going to grind ad back and forth, for 10, 15 minutes in a game, maybe the better team's always going to sort of come out on the upper hand of that. So 2-1 if we look at that statistic, right? So Hansen and Mandel, that's their second sudden deuce point, we're calling it. But yeah, I don't know how else, Randy, to sort of make heads or tails of Hansen and Mandel's sort of, it's not that they're being outplayed, it's like they're a little bit off balance, or they're a little bit, their momentum or sort of how they're crafting the point, they just don't seem to be in control which they have every skill and every, ability on the court.
Yeah, all the talent is there. I think,
Yeah.
they haven't played a lot of paddle together. So it's it's a relatively new matchup. Right?
Yeah.
So they're still kind of figuring each other out.
Yeah, this is their first, I think this is their first pairing here at the Cleveland Masters.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they played a practice match last night for the first time together.
Just missed. That's that loopy forehand. Hansen just makes Held think about it a little bit and just sort of jumped off his paddle. That's one of the challenges in warm weather paddle. The volleyers, the volleyers opportunities are a little bit different, but sometimes you just got to figure out how to keep that ball in the court.
All right. They managed to keep it together enough to pull that set out.
All right, so we will be right back just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming by CSM Media and match statistics provided by Court Director.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Steve Sullivan here with Randy Markey at the Cleveland Racket Club in Pepper Pike, Ohio, with this quarterfinal men's match between our number 4 seeds Dan Hansen and Ned Mandel, who just took the first set, playing Charlie Emhardt and Zach Held. Team that's played together a bit, stays in the Midwest primarily. But Randy, what do you think of the first set?
Well, as we were discussing during the break, it's kind of a weird first set. I think that, Emhardt and Held have done a nice job dictating the pace of this match and have kind of kept Hansen and Mandel a little bit on their heels. But, when they can get into position and do their thing, they obviously were able to get it done in the first set. Be interesting to see if they make any adjustments here in the second set. See if they can't dictate play a little more.
I really like this camera angle. We've seen some really interesting athleticism from Mandel in the corner. Nice switch there to get the look. Dan Hansen.
Steve, one of the things there you go. There's some warm weather unfortunate situation. That ball bounced out of the court. That's That's what happens when it's 65 degrees. But I think one of the other things that's sort of allowing Emhardt and Held to dictate the pace of play is, and this is, I think, also a function of the warmth. I'd like to see Hansen and Mandel's lobs get a little deeper. It's risky, though, when it's this warm out, because that lob can get away from you pretty fast.
Yeah.
But they're giving them too much opportunity to control which overhead they're hitting. As you can see, they're hitting from, about halfway into the service box, which gives them way too many options. That's a better look.
I mean, that's creativity right there. Lose the hat, catch the hat, put the hat back on. Ned Mandel stays in the point.
If there's any question about his athleticism, I'd have fallen down 3 times. The let cord.
Love the point. Really, really good point. Just magical defense from Hansen and Mandel, and great camera work by CSM Media. So, yeah, this is that game felt a little bit more like the level we expected. Maybe the just the dictating the tone of the point and the pace of the point. Obviously, when you're in the backcourt, that's not always easy to do. But Emhardt and Held had to work hard there. Just couldn't get that game. So set 1-love, Hansen and Mandel. This is the side that Dan Hansen's been serving on, but it looks like they changed it up maybe. Nice communication there.
I got it, yeah.
The perfect 45-degree angle neck, right?
Yeah, and Held was...
I like that. They played it right. This is what you're trying to do in that situation. If you're Mandel, you're going to crawl up towards the side screen, and Hansen's got to come help him towards the center of the court. And they played it positionally perfect, and that ball just split him, right?
Yeah, and, listen, Held had been aiming for that nick for 4 rollers in a row, and he finally got what he was looking for. And I think, again, because of the warmth, that ball came out a lot further than Dan Hansen was expecting.
I'm there.
Good cover. Great anticipation. What a get. Oh, thought he had it.
I did as well. Really nice movement, sort of patient footwork when those balls are coming in to the corner. I thought he had it as well. But, yeah, I love that Charlie Emhardt sort of slash overhead where he lets it drop really low. This is something you see from Guillermo Nunez, Russell Benkheim. Like, they have this shot that is almost unreturnable. So Charlie's a pretty tall guy, so impressive that he lets that ball come down and can make contact so low. Wow, way to hold your ground there.
Great hands.
Leave it. No. it up, Dan. Throw it up.
Tomahawk got him.
Because you don't know what to do, right? If you're Charlie Emhardt, you're thinking it could be a bullet. This is what Dan Hansen can do, just carving the ball, shaping the ball. He can put so much spin on it. And, you know, Charlie Emhardt just sort of got a little bit caught on his heels.
You! Me.
I like that change of direction. Use the middle a little bit. Except in that case, when Ned Mandel can load his legs there, that one just sort of walked right into his wheelhouse.
But again, that I think had a lot to do with, you know, Ned hit 3 or 4 lobs that took Emhardt back to the service line and really got him off the net and almost with his feet in cement. Just set him up for catching him off the net with that drive. It's a beautiful example of how good lobbing can really set you up for your offense.
All day, partner.
It's not just for defense anymore, Steve.
Yeah. I love the all-day call. Just that's one of those calls when I get that from my partner. Just puts a little bit too much pressure on me when I get the all day. Like Dan Hansen does a good job doing exactly what he can do in the corner over there.
Ooh, unlucky.
Yeah, it's a right
The
shot,
right
right
look.
take.
Yep.
This one right here.
Zach Held here serving near side deuce court.
You know, when you see a guy like Dan Hansen load up like that, I know it's hard to do when you've got a ball coming at you 400 miles an hour, but I would have liked to have seen Emhardt close that net a little more. You know it's coming, and you're already there. You know, Dan's going to try to frame you. You might as well be right on top of the net.
That's right. And that's probably why that last no-ad point, he chose Mandel. Hansen has really, you know, and that's the one that's tough. That ball just sits up high in the screen. Yeah, that's a tough one to sort of run into, but you're right. Closer you can get to the net, take some of the variability away.
It's easy for me to say sitting in the booth.
Yeah, I can't make it to the net, but we're very confident these guys should be able to do that. All right,
Hansen
a little
and
bit of
Mandel seem to
momentum,
have
right?
figured it
3
out,
love,
right?
Hansen, Mandel. It feels like, I don't know if Held and Emhardt, you know, some of the pressing they did really early on to dictate the offense, dictate a little bit of the pace of the points. You can see some of the statistics here. So 61% of the points towards Hansen and Mandel. Yeah, and I think the first set, we saw those 3 deuce points that had a little bit of that 4-all, the let court that went off the edge of Held's racket. Looking back, that was a big point.
See if these guys can maintain this momentum. It doesn't feel like they've changed that much, though, right? I mean, it doesn't feel like their strategy has changed all that much. They haven't made huge adjustments. They may be playing a little more patiently. But do you see any big change, Steve?
No, I think maybe there were some errors, I think, in those first few games. Balls were sort of jumping off their paddle. They were going for some ground strokes. They weren't landing. I think you said at the time, Randy, they were the right takes. Sometimes, oof.
Wow.
sometimes I like to say in that case, upper quadrant, but the center of gravity of Ned Mandel also drops significantly. So, yeah, sometimes your body moves one way, and it's not the shot as much as you just can't figure out how to, stand your paddle up behind it. So the winner of this match plays the winner of Baxter, Robert, Murphy, Schneider. Semifinals and finals of the men's later tonight. Semifinals 5 p.m. and the finals not before 7:30 p.m. So a lot more paddle to come, a lot more broadcasting with CSM and the YouTube APTA channel coming your way. Women are also finishing up today, so they're working their way through the quarters and semis as well as we speak.
Yeah, this tournament has changed to a one-day tournament. I think, to your earlier point, aided significantly by the no-ad scoring on the men's side. But this is always a fun tournament. The Greater Cleveland Platform Tennis Association and Leah Morris run a terrific program here. We've got Laura Weiss helping out a lot, and Karen DeJedlick from the APTA, who's a local Clevelander as well. Traveling all over the country, but glad to have her here in town for the weekend. Back home, watching her daughter play very well. Lost a tough one in the last round, but just a really well-run tournament here. Can't say enough about how professionally managed this tournament has been for the last 5 or 6 years. It's really very impressive.
Yeah, these tour events, this is the 5th week of the season. Obviously, when you get into the Grand Prix and a 64 draw, one day, nice movement there to squeeze that up and down. I was also part of the Baltimore Open, and sometimes for the organization and the volunteers and the expenses and, effort to put on these tournaments, I've found some of these one-day tournaments can do a little bit more. And I think for the players as well, they travel a lot of weekends. They make big commitments. If you're getting into, Sunday afternoon or, have to come in and play matches on Fridays, sometimes the women's events last year were starting on Fridays, it can just be a big, obligation. So I like the one-day format. Obviously, the no-ad in the men makes it a little more possible. Yeah, Emhardt and Held need to figure out a way to get on the board here in the second. They have a 30-love lead here.
We just gotta win right now. Come on, let's go.
Wow, great move by Dan Hansen.
Yeah, that big loop in forehand. And, obviously he holds it a little bit, starts on one side of Charlie Emhardt. It ends up on the other side of him. But, yeah, just read the second shot very well.
Great anticipation there by Mandel. Teed him up perfectly for that screen drive we were talking about before the match started. He's really utilized that shot to his advantage on both sides, by the way, both his forehand and his backhand. He spots pretty well. He's used it to kind of change the tempo a number of times to his advantage.
All right. Is the obvious comment applicable here? Must-win game? Is that what we say? Set in 5 love?
I see what you did there.
That's just creativity. Oh, nice open paddle there. I got to see it again. Let's see if CSM can bring us that back. I don't know what it hit.
What a get.
It was like an ATP, but it's almost like it nicked through the side post.
It doesn't look like we can bring it back, but it looked like he caught it off the side post.
Yeah. I mean, they all saw it. I didn't see what was happening, but, Hansen and Mandel stayed with it. I thought that was just about back in the net.
Yeah, I thought that point was over.
He hits a little flat, some of those inside out. So that one just contact point looked a little bit breaching the, underneath the height of the net, which is just a tricky angle to pull off. Still pressing. Emhardt and Held wanted that one.
That one just hung on that side wire for what
Yeah.
seemed like an eternity.
Nice dig there. Charlie Emhardt just opened up his paddle patiently, got under the ball. All right, match point, game point. Mandel's going to go to Emhardt in the ad court.
Well, I was going to ask the question if you thought maybe they were going to try to lock down and play patiently, but I think we just saw our answer.
No, they're looking for some fire.
All right, they're on the board in the second set. Let's see if they can change the mo here.
Yeah, I love the backhand off the side screen that Mandel has. That probably wasn't the take.
No, that one
A
dropped
little bit
low
ambitious
for
there.
him.
That ball kind of, very low. Tried to almost flick it versus, turn his shoulders and stroke it, so to speak. But that's a no-ad point, right? You sometimes get in the middle of a point and do something you shouldn't do. Oh, I love it. Backhanded reverse. I don't know what you call it, but just love the hand action there by Dan
My
Hansen.
wrist hurts watching it. Like that caught the rail. It was a great pickup from Mandel. Unfortunately, that warm weather volley just went right out, just by a half inch there.
Just keep going. He just keeps going at it. It was a great stab volley there by Held, and yeah, his second nick of the point wins it.
It's a great spot.
Great spot. A step or so off the net, right? Both of them were a little bit on their heels. I think Emhardt's got a step forward there.
Did outside. Love seeing that paddle wide open, set early.
Yep. Great technique there by Dan. Yeah, like that point a lot for actually from both sides of the court. Like how both teams stayed in that point, kept competing. That was a tricky one that just got away from Dan Hansen there. We have a game point for 5-2. 2 games on the board.
Yeah, sometimes these second set blowouts are hard to close out, right? Emhardt and Held have not gone away. They didn't change their tempo. They didn't change their game plan. They are swinging away, and it's working. They've changed the momentum a little bit here. Let's see if they can keep it going, or if Hansen and Mandel can lock down and make this work to their advantage.
Yeah, I think what we saw in the first 6 to 8 games when we got, from the beginning of the match to 4 on the first set, it was very clear the first couple games especially, Emhardt and Held were going at Dan Hansen. I think they hit him a couple times, and they're not necessarily playing that aggressively. They're really trying to dictate the point. but they're just playing, very smart points. They're obviously staying into it. The last 2 games have eliminated some mistakes. And, we've talked earlier in the match, like our Hansen and Mandel doing something different to get that set and then a 5-0 lead, and it didn't seem like they did a ton differently. But at the end of the day, you have to close out the match, right? You can't. This is a very capable, competent team. So we said, I think you said it, Randy, at 5-0. Well, it doesn't look like Held's gonna steady the ship, and he's gonna. What an unbelievable dig there by Charlie Emhardt.
Fabulous.
So they're, no quit. Let's keep going.
Playing their game.
Yeah.
Live by the sword, die by the sword. That's a great shot.
Yeah, love that low slash overhead. That almost hit the snowboard. Great double break point.
All right, come on, Chucky. That's 3 in a row. Let's make it 7.
Okay. Well, any questions about the momentum shift are now answered. Think Hansen and Mandel change anything here to try to pull this out, or do you think they continue with their existing strategy?
Yeah, I think they return aggressively. Just missed. But yeah, you want to buckle down a little bit. The challenge and what sometimes teams get stuck into in these situations is pressing, right? And this, Randy, is one of the trickier things, like pressing in paddle, trying to make too much happen versus letting the point come to you and sort of being patient.
Zach Held wanted to challenge that call.
Yeah, he
upheld
looking
by the
through
umpire,
Hawkeye.
Will Young. The chase review said it was out.
Great camera work here, watching Ned Mandel dig out of that side. There it is.
Cutter again.
Junky. I love it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this before, Randy. That's a tough ball to sort of, you can't be passive. You have to sort of play through almost a little bit more tennis-like and sort of come through that underhand spin.
Yeah, it just sits on your paddle. It doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, double match point.
Oh, that's a shame. All right,
Yeah, I'd love to
Hansen and
come back
Mandel
there.
pull it out.
Yeah, he wants that one back. But Randy, is a good match. I'd like the comeback in the second set. Any final comments or takeaways?
No, I think it was fun to watch. Emhardt and Held stick with their game plan. They had good control over the points. I think ultimately Hansen and Mandel just sort of found their rhythm, and their talent prevailed. But it was a great match. Great calling it with you. Looking forward to a really exciting semifinal here coming up.
Absolutely. So we have the women's semis coming on at 4, men's semis 5, and then 6:30 and 7:30 respectively are the finals. So a lot more paddle to come. For Randy Markey, I am Steve Sullivan, and that's a wrap.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. and our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.